Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're looking at a small box that, well, it offered an instant solution to a huge problem for so many musicians.
A really huge problem.
Exactly. The question was always, how do you get that warm, complex sound of an acoustic guitar when all you've got on stage is your electric rig? So today we're diving into the evolution of Barber's Oss's compact acoustic simulator pedals. We're going to track the tech that separated the groundbreaking AC2 from the AC3.
Right.
Our mission is really to see how these pedals went from, I guess, a cool novelty to an absolute necessity, how you could turn one instrument into two instantly.
And that capability was it was vital for gigging musicians. I mean, think about cover bands or worship services.
Fast-paced environment.
Totally. You need to go from high gain solo straight into a clean acoustic part. You just don't have time to swap guitars, mess with cables, or, find a DI box for the sound deck.
That direct injection box, yeah.
The AC series basically promised to make that entire headache just disappear.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. The foundation. The BASS AC2. Which came out way back in 1995.
A long time ago in pedal years.
It really is. And before this, any kind of acoustic simulation in a little stonk box was often just terrible.
Oh, it was bad. Just a really crude, kind of thin, sterile piezo sound.
Exactly. The AC2 felt like the first serious attempt to model the actual structure of an acoustic guitar.
Well, what's fascinating here is just how early BA tests tackled this, digitally. Our sources point to the architecture, and it's early Roland composite modeling.
Okay, so what does that even mean? It sounds very technical.
It is. It uses a milter plus resonance plus dynamic exciter topology.
I know, it sounds incredibly dense.
Yeah, that's a mouthful. So for someone just plugging in, what was the AC2 actually doing?
It means that instead of just, slapping on an EQ curve, it was trying to mathematically simulate how sound waves bounce around inside a wooden box.
Ah, so the resonance.
So the resonance, exactly. It was trying to capture the body's contribution, not just a raw pickup signal. That was the real breakthrough. And that thinking gave us those four voicings. You had standard, jumbo.
For the bigger, boomier sound, yeah.
Piezo, of course. And then the really important one, the enhanced setting.
Which was meant to be brighter, more like a studio sound, like it was already mic'd up.
Right.
But if you talk to anyone who actually used this thing back in the day, they'll all tell you the real magic was in the knobs.
The body and top controls?
The body knob handled that low end, the warmth, sort of the perceived size of the guitar. But the key, the absolute key, was the top control.
What did that do?
That's what added all the sparkle, the upper string clarity, that brightness, the little bit of pick attack.
Yeah.
That's what made it sound less like a muffled electric.
Okay, so if the AC2 had all this complex modeling inside, why does everyone now look back on it as having that plastic sheen or a slightly synthetic sound?
That's the core tension, right? For its time, it was the best thing out there. But you're still dealing with 1995 processing power.
The technology just wasn't quite there yet.
Exactly. The idea of modeling the wood was there, but the execution had these little digital artifacts, that synthetic quality. It was the good enough tone.
But you had to work with it.
Oh, yeah. You had to work around its limits. You had to run it clean into a full range system if you could. And it reacted so differently to humbuckers versus single coils, so you had to experiment. A true pioneer, but it definitely left room for improvement.
Right. And that brings us to the next chapter. The AC2 had a great run, a full decade, but by 2006, things had changed.
Demands were higher. Players and sound engineers wanted something that sat better in a professional mix.
That plastic sheen wasn't cutting it anymore. So how did BAS step up with the AC3?
They did a total overhaul of the architecture. The big leap was bringing in Roland's much more advanced KSSM engine.
Composite object sound modeling.
Yep, and that upgrade meant the AC3 could handle way more harmonic complexity, better resonance shaping, and this is crucial, it responded much more naturally to how you were actually playing.
So you're picking dynamics.
Exactly. The tone wasn't just, a static sound. It felt more organic, more alive.
And this is where the AC3 really became a pro tool, because they didn't just tweak the sound, they solved some major real-world problems for gigging musicians.
First up, they added reverb.
A simple thing, but so important.
It was brilliant. A real acoustic guitar exists in a physical space, right? There's air around it.
Sure.
Adding a dedicated reverb immediately made the sound feel less dry, less artificial. But the true professional upgrade, the one that probably saved a million arguments at the sound booth,
was the dual output system.
the dual outputs. This was the game changer.
Okay, tell us more about those outputs, because this is the specific problem it solved for the front-of-house engineer, right, the FOH.
Precisely. The AC3 gave you two options. You had the GAMP
Yeah.
for a regular guitar amp.
Right, which was EQ'd to sound okay through an amp that, colors your sound heavily. But the secret weapon was the line out.
And that went where? Directly to the PA system.
Okay.
Or to an FRFR cab, a full-range flat response speaker. It was a pure, full-range flat signal.
So with the AC2, the sound engineer might be getting a weird compromise signal. But the AC3 gave them exactly what they needed, a clean slate they could actually mix properly.
You got it. It made it so much more usable on big stages. And tonally, the AC3 was just. It was leagues ahead. The resonance was deeper, more organic, and a lot of that harsh digital edge from the AC2 was gone.
And the voicings were better, too.
Much better. The enhanced mode in particular really delivered on that promise of a modern, hi-fi, studio-miced kind of sound.
And the controls reflect that. You still had your body and top knobs, but now you have that dedicated reverb control right there on the pedal.
It completed the package. The AC3 really defined what a modern, compact acoustic simulator should be.
So let's just recap that journey. If you put these two pedals side by side, the difference really tells the story of how modeling tech evolved in that 11-year gap.
It really does. The AC2, from 95 to 2005, it created the whole category with that early digital modeling. The sound was bright. It was crisp.
And it had that charming but, unavoidable synthetic quality.
Exactly. Then you have the AC3 from 2006 all the way to 2022. It takes that same idea, but supercharges it with COSM modeling.
And adds the pro features.
And adds the reverb, and most importantly, those dual outputs. The result was just a fuller, smoother, truly mix-ready sound.
This progression really shows Boas's whole philosophy, doesn't it?
It really does. They went from simple utility, just proving the concept could work with the AC2, to creating a professional stage-ready tool with the AC3.
And solving that FOH problem with the outputs is what made it the industry standard for 16 years.
For 16 years, yeah.
Culturally, it just changed the game. The AC3 proved you didn't have to choose between having a portable rig and having a good acoustic tone.
It lets so many players integrate those sounds into their electric setups without worrying about feedback or, the hassle of a second guitar.
It was a powerhouse.
A total powerhouse. It pretty much reigned supreme until the next wave of technology, like the IR-based simulators, started to take over. But for its era, the AC3 was the perfect balance of size, usability, and realism.
What a fantastic journey. From the AC2's kind of revolutionary, but slightly synthetic sound, to the AC3's fully professional, stage-ready COSM engine.
Two classics, but from completely different eras of digital modeling.
Absolutely.
And that actually brings up a final kind of provocative question for you to think about.
Okay.
We know the AC3 was chasing realism. And today, modern IR technology is chasing even more perfect realism. But if we describe the old AC2 tone as having a specific synthetic charm, is there a unique place for that sound today?
You mean a place where its imperfection is a good thing?
Maybe. Could there be a genre or a production style where that early, bright, slightly plastic sound is actually the more interesting creative choice? Precisely because it doesn't sound perfectly natural. Something to think about.